How's it going, you all?
And welcome back to B-Bros. We are back with the review of WandaVision episode 8, previously on.
We have seen for the first time the backstories of Agatha Harkness and Wanda Maximoff, which gave us a lot more new dynamics and new information about the creatures in the MCU.
We knew this episode was going to be mind-blowing when we saw Thanos in the recap.
We have a lot to talk about in this video, like what is chaos magic or what is going on with white vision.
To answer these questions, let's get into the video.
To process the amount of new information given to us, we must divide this episode into 3 pieces: Agatha Harkness, Wanda Maximoff, and Vision. We will also track down the dates and location of the events as well.
Let's begin with Agatha.
We start the episode in Salem, Massachusetts, 1693. Agatha is under trial by the other witches in her community. Apparently, she stole magic above her age and station. Dark magic.
The dark magic reminds us about the dark dimension of Dormammu. Witches and sorcerers use some sort of magic, but we do not yet know the connection between the two. We will discover more in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but until then, we can only speculate.
The other speculation is the color of the magic being used. We wonder if they are significant. Usually, colors in the MCU have been linked with Infinity Stones, but we entered a new saga and we do not know if the stones will play a crucial role.
Even if the colors are not linked with the stones, we have 3 colors of magic: blue for regular, purple for dark, and red for chaos.
We cannot link the sorcerer magic with a specific color other than the green for the sorcerer supreme, which includes an infinity stone that does not exist in this reality, and orange, which has a different appearance to witch magic.
Agatha is far stronger due to the dark magic than all the other witches combined, which also include her mother. We can see a tiara on Agatha's mother's head that looks similar to Scarlett Witch's tiara, maybe that is special for witches. After Agatha kills her mother and all the other witches, she takes the necklace from her mother and starts her journey.
The next time we see her is in 2023 inside the Hex. We're not sure what she was working on, what she was planning, or what her goal was, but she decided to track Wanda down after she created the Hex and spread a tremendous amount of magic. When she saw the magic, she was fascinated by it, the strength, the size, the amount, and decided to monitor Wanda's next moves. We do not know how Wanda is involved with Agatha's plan, but she must have a goal she is working on, and Wanda was probably unexpected, and she had to deal with her to continue.
It is important to point out that Agatha thought Wanda was doing what she was doing intentionally, but in reality Wanda did not even know she was a witch. We can understand that Agatha was quite disappointed when she found that Wanda was not up to something and she felt like Wanda was wasting her potential. Agatha traps Wanda to her basement with basic spells. Wanda has no countermeasures as her powers are very raw. Agatha is fascinated by Wanda's powers and wants to go deeper to find out more.
She explores Wanda's past to let Wanda know about her true identity, as she had a theory about what Wanda is. We can say when she learns about Wanda being the Scarlet Witch, she takes different precautions so we know how dangerous Wanda is. We will talk more about Scarlet Witch in our Wanda Maximoff section.
For now, only thing we will say is that Agatha will use the twins as leverage to tame or use Wanda's powers, or maybe try to transfer it to herself to complete her yet unknown mission. She definitely has a lot more experience than Wanda, even though she is not as strong, so Agatha would want to take advantage of Wanda's rickiness as much as she can to stop her from destroying her.
We should mention a couple of details before moving on to Wanda. We learned that Agatha used a possession spell to control a regular human to bring Pietro. Also, we learned that spells Wanda used to create the Hex are called Mind Control to control humans and Transformation to change the setting and character appearances.
We do not know what she used to create Vision, which emerged from inside Wanda or the kids. She created Vision so that she have babies by herself. Also, the rabbit Agatha holds in her hand is called Senor Scratchy. He is a shapeshifter character in the comics, so he can transform himself into anything, but the important detail about him is that he is Agatha's son.
The Salem witch trial scene in the beginning is a vision for Wanda. After catching up with Agatha's backstory, she goes through hers. In this episode, we get to see the details of Wanda's life-shaping experiences, which starts in 1999, Sokovia, her first trauma.
Wanda and her family live in a small apartment. Oleg and Irina Maximoff do their best to isolate their children from the war in Sokovia, but inevitably reality hits them. Wanda and Pietro were 10 years old when their parents died, home destroyed, and lived under the table for 2 days with fear. Wanda's life never picks up fully after this event.
Before the bomb exploded, we saw how Oleg brought American television into their apartment to educate his children and teach them English. He and Irina probably had a goal to take their children to the US someday and wanted to give them the language and the culture early on. We can see how much it affected Wanda, especially the sitcoms. She shapes her reality exactly the way those sitcoms were.
Other than seeing Wanda's childhood and her parents' death, the key point and the reason why Agatha brought Wanda back here was to show how she prevented the bomb from exploding for 2 days. We learned that she used probability magic to do that, so we can say she used to be a witch all along.
The question to ask here is whether she's a mutant or a witch, or can be both at the same time. In our last video, we categorized the different superpowered individuals and discussed how some of the characters can have properties from each category. So, Wanda can be a witch and a mutant at the same time. Let's move on to the HYDRA base to explore more about Wanda's powers.
We are not 100% sure how old Wanda and Pietro are when they joined HYDRA to gain new powers, but as she is 27 during Civil War and Agatha mentions rebellious years in the episode, we think she is around 16 to 19. In this flashback, we get to see how Wanda increased her powers with the help of the Mind Stone. It is important to point out that everyone who did this experiment previously died and Wanda is the only survivor.
No one can touch an Infinity Stone and live unless they are extremely strong or powerful. So far, we have seen a half Celestial pull it off barely and an Eternal do it quite comfortably. Wanda has to have such power to be able to connect with the Mind Stone like she did.
During her contact with the Mind Stone, she sees a vision of herself in the form of the Scarlett Witch. She multiplies her powers after that and starts her training with HYDRA to become a weapon. We can say she would have been a very powerful witch even without the Mind Stone, but merging with the Mind Stone made her the Scarlet Witch.
We should also mention that we are a little disappointed for not seeing any Pietro flashback scenes. If we saw how he gained or increased his powers, that would have helped us to understand Wanda further. Did Pietro contact with the Mind Stone just like Wanda did, or did they transfer some of Wanda's power to Pietro? Is he as gifted as Wanda? Did he have superpowers before? We do not have any clear answer for those.
We are in the year that Wanda joined the Avengers after the Battle of Sokovia. She is alone in her room watching a sitcom and mourning her brother. Vision wants to comfort her and has one of his memorable speeches. He is very good with words.
I have always been alone, he says. He never experienced loss of a loved one and therefore has no grief.
What is grief, if not love persevering?
These words comfort Wanda and we believe this is the time she falls in love with Vision. Real-time Wanda gets extremely emotional in this scene. We can see how she has the hardest time accepting Vision's loss. She's actually willing to go to the next door as she gets impatient and gives into her emotions.
After defeating Thanos, Wanda has a new objective, retrieving Vision's dead body and have a funeral. She looks very genuine and we can see she doesn't have a plan to bring him back to life. She didn't even steal the body from the headquarters and that was all lies from Hayward.
Inside the headquarters, Hayward allows Wanda to say her final goodbyes to Vision as he's made of $3 billion worth of vibranium and he cannot allow Vision to be allowed outside with Wanda as he thinks she can resurrect her. Of course, they are not the main reasons why Hayward doesn't allow Vision to leave.
Wanda has an emotional scene where she says, "I can't feel you." It's a reference to her and Vision's scene in Scotland during Infinity War, the last time they were comfortably together.
After saying her goodbyes to Vision, she goes to Westview, New Jersey, the home Vision both for them to live a peaceful life. When she looks at the note from Vision and thinks about what she could have had, she falls apart. She creates the hex unintentionally due to pure emotions. We can see that Vision inside is created by Wanda, and that is probably the reason why all of his memories are what Wanda gave and why he cannot leave the hex.
Up to this point, we can see that Wanda did not do anything wrong, but she is accused of what she is not fully responsible.
We're back into the studios where the episodes are shot. Actually, the first 2 episodes of WandaVision are shot in this exact set we see in the episode with a real-life audience.
Agatha understands who Wanda really is and moves outside. Wanda follows her to see that she is keeping the kids. We have to be honest, we are not entirely certain the kids are real, but Wanda thinks they are, so she cannot do anything rash.
Agatha reveals Wanda as the Scarlett Witch for the first time in the MCU. We also learn that the Scarlet Witch is not exclusive to Wanda, but it is more of a title, and Wanda happens to fit that description. You're supposed to be a myth, a being capable of spontaneous creation. This is chaos magic, Wanda. These are the exact words that come out of Agatha's mouth. The Scarlet Witch is a group of witches who uses chaos magic and presumed a myth. In comics, the god of magic in his dying moments passed on the power to Wanda.
So, what is chaos magic? In Scarlet Witch number 1, 2015, Wanda's powers are described as the ability to break the laws of physics and scientific absolutes, including levitation, transformation, and teleportation. If we can tie that to the idea of chaos magic, we can say it is the ability to change reality. This makes Wanda the strongest being we know. That's what Kevin Feige said.
Wanda Maximoff was going to kill Thanos.
Yeah.
If he hadn't desperately, that's as scared as I've ever seen Thanos.
To understand Wanda more, let's look at the origins of the Scarlet Witch in comics. Scarlet Witch first appeared as a supervillain in 1964, the X-Men number 4. She and her twin brother Quicksilver started the Brother of Mutants with Magneto. Wanda's backstory and mostly parentage changes throughout the eras, but the most common one is Magneto being her father and an East European couple adopting her with Quicksilver. In the MCU, that counter is Sokovia. We have no confirmation of her father being Magneto yet.
We exit the hex, leaving Wanda in a tough spot, but there are things to attend to just outside as well.
We learned last episode that Project Cataract was about Vision. This episode, we learned that Project Cataract is Vision. Hayward brings him back to life by using the power directly from the source, Wanda. This proves that Wanda has the power to bring back Vision's original form back to life, even outside.
SWORD owns the rights of Vision's corpse. Apparently, Vision had a will to dismantle his body, and SWORD might have had the duty to do so, but they violated his wishes. You might be wondering when he created his will. We have a little theory about that.
Sokovia Accords involved all the Avengers tied up to a contract with the UN. Vision is considered one of the strongest and mysterious Avengers, so they might have easily set some ground rules about him. He was allowed to continue his life freely like a human, but if and when he died, the remains would become government property.
At least that has to be the case for SWORD to legally own his body. But we are pretty certain turning him to a sentry weapon is stretching the rules way too much.
We can say the outside Vision's memory is wiped out and looks like a cold-blooded killer. SWORD plans to send him inside to take out Wanda. Hayward would be hitting 2 birds with 1 stone as he would be A hero for stopping Wanda and bringing the people back, and also getting rid of the only person that can reveal the actual truth. That is where the inside vision, Monica and Darcy kicks in. They have to help Wanda to stop Agatha and deal with the outside world before looking like the villain in front of the whole world.
In the end of the episode, we get to see the white Vision. In comics, when Vision is brought back to life, his body is white, just like the one in this episode. Also, there are rumors that White Vision will be Ultron's vision and will have his voice. That would be very cool and also would feel more like a villain.
For the finale of the episode, we have a little theory. We believe Inside Vision cannot leave the Hex and still needs his original body, and the person who can allow this transition is Wanda. So there is a good possibility that when the White Vision is defeated, Wanda can transfer the real Vision into his original body and keep him alive for good. Hopefully, Wanda will become the hero again.
We had a lot to process and talk about in this video, and we hope you enjoyed it. The final episode is this Friday, and we are extremely excited.
The story of WandaVision will come to an end, but it will also tie with the future projects, and we cannot wait to see it. We will be back next week to discuss it, and until then,
Libros out.